welcome to today's video lecture. In today's video lecture, I'll be solving previous year's NEET questions and discussing the answers. And this is for the chapter Structural Organization in Animals. And as you can see on your screen, we are in part 4 of the series. So if you haven't checked out part 1, 2 and 3, please do so. The links will be there in the description box below. Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so question number 1. Earthworms are A. Useful, B. Harmful, C. More useful than harmful, and D. More harmful. This appeared in 1989. Okay, so the earthworms, as we all know, they are useful, but then there are some disadvantages also to having earthworm in the ecosystem. Alright, so yes, they are more useful than harmful. There are good effects and bad effects to having earthworms in the ecosystem. Alright, so earthworms are more useful than harmful. Okay, so the appropriate answer here would be C. Let's go to the discussion. Okay, so here I have made a table of advantages and disadvantages of earthworms. Okay, I think we have already discussed advantages previously. Okay, and obviously they provide manure to the soil, and the nitrogen waste serve as important source of plant food, and why the process of vermicomposting, the fertility of soil is increased. Okay, with the help of earthworm, they also use as food in some countries, and many tribal communities in India use earthworm as medicines to cure bladder stones, jaundice, piles, diarrhea, etc. Okay, so we have already discussed advantages. Let's go to the disadvantages. There are some disadvantages. Obviously, as you can see, the number of advantages are more than the disadvantages. So they tend to damage young plants, with the continuous burrowing. During rainy season, they cause soil erosion due to burrows they dig. Sometimes the burrows cause loss of water from irrigated lands. Now, some earthworms serve as intermediate hosts for some parasites. Okay, so we've already discussed human health and disease, where I've discussed, how parasites tend to occupy hosts and they perform their life cycle in that. So some earthworms serve as intermediate hosts for some parasites such as tapeworm of chicken and lung nematode of pigs, and they also spoil playgrounds by digging burrows. But then you can see the advantages are more than the disadvantages, so they are more useful than harmful. Okay, so that answers our question. If you like, you can note these points down, so it will be easier for you to study later on. Okay, let's move on. Question number 2. Photoreceptors of earthworm occur on, this appeared in 1989. A. Clitellum, no. Many eyes, no. Dorsal surface, yes. Lateral sides, no. So photoreceptors of earthworm occur on the dorsal surface of the earthworm. So the answer is C. Let's look at photoreceptors. So here you can see a diagram of what a photoreceptor looks like. It's like one unicellular, structure. It has a nucleus, it has a lens in it. So photoreceptors are present in the epidermis of prostomium and peristomium, where they are there in abundant. Okay, so photoreceptors are present there. I hope you know what peristomium and prostomium is. Peristomium is the first segment of the earthworm, and prostomium is the dorsal surface that's overhung from the peristomium. Okay, now each photoreceptor is unicellular and contains a nucleus and a lens. Okay, and in the cytoplasm. And as you can see on the structure over here, you see this is the epidermis. Okay, and here you have this photoreceptor. So the cytoplasm contains a network of neurofibrils and retinella, from where the nerve fiber arises. Okay, so you have retinella here. Okay, which contains also, the cytoplasm contains neurofibrils, where the nerve fiber arises. The receptors, these receptors detect intensity of light. That's their function. Okay, so this is the function of the photoreceptor. Okay, they detect intensity of light. Okay, clear? I guess we've answered the question. They are abundantly present in the prostomium and peristomium, the epidermis. Okay, and they are present basically on the dorsal surface. So if they ever ask you a question, like that, photoreceptors of earthworm occur on the dorsal surface. All right, let's move on then. Okay, so question number 3. If the head of cockroach is removed, it may live for few days because, and this appeared in Neet 2020, which is quite recent. A. The supraesophageal ganglia of the cockroach are situated in the ventral part of abdomen. No, that's incorrect. The cockroach does not have nervous system. No. The head holds a small proportion of a nervous system, or the rest is situated along the ventral part of its body. Yes. D. The head holds a one-third of a nervous system while the rest is situated along the dorsal part of its body. No, that's incorrect. So the appropriate answer over here is C. Let's go to the discussion. So now let's understand the CNS, the central nervous system of the cockroach, a little bit in detail so that we understand, what do they mean by why is it like, the head part only contains a small part and the rest is present on the ventral nerve cord, a ventral part of the cockroach. So this in the CNS, the head region consists of supraesophageal ganglion and is divided into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay, so the supraesophageal ganglion is the brain. Okay, it's divided into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. It is formed by the fusion of 3 pairs of ganglia. Okay, now circumesophageal connectives extend from either side of the brain. Now, the supraesophageal, I have a diagram so it will be easier for you to understand. So, after the supraesophageal ganglion, there are some connectives called the circumesophageal connectives. Okay, that extend from either side of the brain. Okay, and they connect ventrally and posteriorly. So, ventrally and towards the end posteriorly around the esophagus and meet the subesophageal ganglion. So you have supra, you have sub, and in between you have circumesophageal connectives. Okay, that's that part that forms a part of the head region. Now subesophageal ganglion is formed again by the fusion of 3 pairs of ganglion. Okay, so you have supraesophageal, which is formed by 3 pairs of, it's a fusion of 3 pairs of ganglion, and you have subesophageal ganglion, it's again formed by 3 pairs of ganglion. Okay, and it is a white mass lying below the esophagus in the head region. Now double ventral cord extends from the subesophageal ganglion. Remember, in cockroaches it is a ventral cord. Okay, it's not present on the dorsal side, ventral cord, which is this side. Dorsal is the back. Okay, so extend from the subesophageal ganglion ventral to the alimentary canal. Okay, and it contains 3 thoracic and 6 abdominal ganglia. So you have supra, you have the circumesophageal connectives, and then you have the subesophageal connectives, the ganglion, and from there you have the double ventral cord. Okay. Now there are 3 thoracic ganglion are situated in the pro, meso and metathoracic segments, and the 6 abdominal ganglion are situated in the first, second, third, fourth, sixth and seventh segments. Okay, there's no ganglion present in the 5th segment, remember that. The first 5 ganglion are similar, but the 6th ganglion is large. Now let's look at a diagram which you'll be able to understand. You can correlate this with the text that I've given in the discussion. So you have the brain here, okay, the forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, that's the supraesophageal ganglion. Okay, then you have the circumesophageal connectives over here, which is an extension, and then you have the subesophageal ganglion. Okay, now from here the double ventral cord begins. Okay, and it goes up till the alimentary canal. So you have there's one ganglion that's prothoracic, then you have mesothoracic, and then you have metathoracic, and then you have the abdominal ganglion. Okay, so you have first ganglion, you have the second, third, fourth, fifth ganglion. Remember, is present in the sixth segment. There is no ganglion present over here in the 5th. And then you have the 6th ganglion, which is present in the 7th segment. So you can see the 6th ganglion is larger or bigger than the other 5. Okay, so basically this is the whole structure of the CNS of the cockroach. So just imagine if only the head was injured, but you have the majority of the CNS is present in the ventral cord. So the cockroach can still survive for another week or so, okay, before it actually dies. Um, that is why the question was framed that way. Let's go back to the question. Okay, so the head of the cockroach is removed or damaged or whatever. It may live for few days because the head, sorry, because the head holds a small proportion. You can see the head region is small, but the majority is present in the ventral nerve cord. Okay, there are lots of ganglion present in the ventral nerve cord. The rest is situated along the ventral part of its body. Okay, clear? That answers our question. We have explained the CNS of cockroach in detail, so you can note it down if you like. Let's move on. Alright, so question number 4. Select the correct sequence of organs in the alimentary canal of cockroach starting from mouth. This appeared in Neet 2019. So you have A, pharynx, esophagus, ileum, crop, gizzard. No, that's definitely incorrect. You have pharynx, esophagus, crop, gizzard, ileum, colon, rectum. Crop, yes, crop comes before gizzard, so B could be right. Yeah. Pharynx, esophagus, gizzard, crop, no. Pharynx, esophagus, gizzard, ileum, no. So the appropriate answer over here is B. Okay, so here you have the correct sequence. It's pharynx, esophagus. You have the pharynx here, you have the esophagus here, you have the crop here, then you have the gizzard over here, and then you have the midgut, hindgut, so on. Okay, rectum, ileum, colon, and rectum. All right, so yeah, this diagram is taken from NCRT, so this shouldn't be, you shouldn't be unfamiliar with it. You have to learn all the diagrams present in the textbook. Yeah, so this is very simple. You have to remember the structure, the anatomy of the alimentary canal of the cockroach. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so question number 5. Which of the following features is used to identify a male cockroach from a female cockroach? And this appeared in Neet 2018. A. Presence of a boat-shaped sternum on the 9th abdominal segment. D. Presence of caudal styles. C. Forewings with darker tegmina. D. Presence of an anal cerci. So, to identify a male cockroach from a female cockroach, male cockroaches have caudal styles, also known as anal styles. So the answer over here is B. Okay, answer is B. Let's go to the discussion. So male cockroaches have caudal styles, whereas female cockroaches do not. Okay, so that's like a very important physical appearance identifier between a male and a female cockroach that you can see physically. So here you have caudal style. Okay, so this is a structure of the male cockroach. Over here obviously you can see all the reproductive organs, which we're not going to go into detail here. So they are paired, of course. We can see a pair over here and are thin, small, unjointed outgrowths which project backwardly from the sides of the 9th sternum. Okay, now usually the functions of the caudal style is that they react to any environmental or chemical changes around. They also act as a male copulatory organ. Okay, so these are some of the functions of the caudal style. If they write anal style, you know they're talking about caudal style. Okay, so that's another term that is used for cockroaches. Okay, and yeah, that pretty much answers our question, right? It's pretty direct. Okay, so to identify a male cockroach from a female cockroach, a very important physical identifier is presence of caudal styles. Okay, let's move on then. Alright, so question number 6. In male cockroaches, sperms are stored in which part of the reproductive system? This appeared in Neet 2016. A. Seminal vesicles. B. Mushroom glands. C. Testes. And D. Vas deferens. Okay, so sperms are stored in the seminal vesicles. Okay, so the answer over here is A. Let's go to the discussion. So in male cockroaches, sperms are stored in the seminal vesicles. Over here you can see the seminal vesicles. This diagram is taken from NCRT. So these small tubules, long tubules, seminal vesicles, they all form a part of mushroom gland. Okay. And so when the sperms come in, they are stored for temporary reasons in the seminal vesicles till they are let out. Okay. Mushroom gland also was an option, but the appropriate answer over here clearly was A, seminal vesicles. I mean, we would choose that as the appropriate answer. Okay, let's move on then. Yeah. So there are numerous small sacs present on the ventral surface of the anterior part of the ejaculatory duct. So that's where the anatomy is. You have the ejaculatory duct and they're present on the ventral side and on the anterior part, the front part of the ejaculatory duct. Okay, let's move on. Question number 7. Which of the following features is not present in Periplaneta americana? So when they're talking about Periplaneta americana, they're talking about cockroach. Okay, so been a Neet 2016. So the features that are not present, okay, in cockroaches: A, exoskeleton composed of N-acetyl glucosamine. Yes, that's correct. B, metamerically segmented body. Yes, we are aware of that. C, schizocoelom as body cavity. Yes, that's true. D, interdeterminate and radial cleavage during embryonic development. So that is incorrect. A, B and C are correct. So the answer is D. The exoskeleton composed of N-acetyl glucosamine, that's actually chitin. Okay, and of course they have a segmented body, we know that, and the coelom is schizocoelom. Okay, that's formed from the mesoderm. The splitting of mesoderm happens. Okay, so the type of cleavage actually is determinate, or also known as mosaic cleavage, and the pattern of cleavage is superficial cleavage. Okay, so determinate cleavage is when all the blastomeres together have to be present to be able to form an embryo. Okay, I would suggest you learn this as a fact. Okay, what is the pattern of cleavage? And unfortunately, it is not really clearly present in the information is not present in NCRT, but just learn it as a fact. But also, you can use the system of elimination. Okay, because you know A, B, and C are correct. If you are sure of A, B, and C being correct, what is not present, yes, D is incorrect. All right, so yep, that answers our question. So the pattern of cleavage is not radial cleavage, it's superficial cleavage. Okay, let's move on then. Question number 8. The body cells in cockroach discharge their nitrogenous waste in the hemolymph mainly in the form of, and this appeared in 2015, A, urea, B, calcium carbonate, C, ammonia, and D, potassium urate. So the body cells in cockroach discharge their nitrogenous waste in the hemolymph mainly in the form of D, potassium urate. Okay, the others are not right, they're incorrect. So the answer is D. Let's go to the discussion. So we are aware that Malpighian tubules are excretory in function, so they play a role, okay, in forming uric acid, but we'll see how that works. Okay, so the body cells of cockroach discharge nitrogen waste like potassium and sodium urate, water and CO2, okay, in the hemolymph. So the cells are producing these toxic compounds which need to be eliminated from the body. Okay, so they discharge into the hemolymph. Now we know that there are Malpighian tubules, right? Okay, extract these waste from the hemolymph and form sodium and potassium bicarbonates, water and uric acid. Okay, so it enters the Malpighian tubules and they are converted into bicarbonates of sodium and potassium, water and uric acid. Now what happens there? Now, large amounts of sodium and potassium bicarbonates and water are reabsorbed back by cells of the Malpighian tube and then into the hemolymph. So you have the Malpighian tubes. So they've performed their function. They've converted into bicarbonates, uric acid, and water. But we don't want to lose water. We don't want to lose the bicarbonates. We can excrete the uric acid, which we don't need. right? Just like how human kidneys function, we already discussed human kidneys, right, in excretory system. So they reabsorb the water so that the body does not lose water, and they reabsorb the carbonates. Okay, they reabsorb that and they eliminate the uric acid from the system. Okay. Oh, sorry, this is the next question. But we've answered the question. Let's go back to the question. The body cells in cockroach discharge their nitrogenous waste in the hemolymph, mainly in the form of potassium urate. Okay, we've answered this question. Okay, let's move on. Question number 9. The terga, sterna, and pleura of cockroach body are joined by A. Arthrodial membrane, B. Cartilage, cementing glue, and D. Muscular tissue. This appeared in 2015. It was a cancelled exam. So they are joined by arthrodial membrane. Okay, so the answer is A. Let's go to the discussion. So terga, sterna, and pleura, that's the dorsal side, the ventral side, the lateral side, they're covered by chitinous plates, okay, called sclerites. Okay, so these parts of the body are covered by these chitinous plates called sclerites. Now the sclerites are joined together by thin, flexible, soft articular or arthrodial membranes. Okay, so you have the anatomy of a cockroach. You can go look that up in NCRT again. So you have the dorsal, the ventral, the lateral side. They all covered by sclerites. Okay, and they are chitin. They're made of chitin. Okay, and chitin or chitin, whatever you call it chitin. And they are joined together by articular or arthrodial membranes. Okay, they are plates. Okay, they are plate like structures, and they are joined together by arthrodial membrane. Okay, so pretty direct. It wasn't very difficult, factual based. Okay, let's move on then. Alright, so question number 10. What external changes are visible after the last molt of a cockroach nymph? This appeared in Neet 2013. A. Both forewings and hindwings develop. B. Labium develops. C. Mandibles become harder. D. Anal cerci develop. So what external changes are visible after the last molt of a cockroach nymph? That means before it becomes into an adult. It's a nymph and then it becomes into an adult. So the external changes are both the forewings and hind wings develop. Okay, so the answer over here is A. So the nymph resembles the adult cockroach and molts 13 times before becoming an adult. So the last molt of a cockroach makes the cockroach into an adult, and it has fully developed wings. Okay, there are 2 pairs of wings present in the cockroach, and they become fully developed, and that's like the external change that you can see. Okay, clear? This you should know. I think I've answered this question. Both forewings and hindwings develop. B, C, and D are incorrect. Okay, let's move on. Alright, so question number 11. Select the correct option with respect to cockroaches. Okay, and this appeared in Karnataka Neet 2013. A. Malpighian tubules convert nitrogenous waste into urea. No, that's not the correct option. It converts into uric acid. Males bear short anal styles not present in females. Yeah, we discussed that. Let's go to the others. Nervous system comprises of a dorsal nerve cord and 10 pairs of ganglia. No. The forewings are tegmina, which are used in flight. No, the forewings are not used in flight. So it's the correct answer is B. The males bear short anal styles not present in females. So the answer is B. So Malpighian tubules convert nitrogenous waste into uric acid. Yeah. Nervous system consists of a ventral nerve cord. There are 9 ganglia, 3 thoracic ganglia and 6 abdominal ganglia. Okay. forewings are also known as mesothoracic, okay, and are dark mesothoracic wings, okay, and are dark colored, opaque, thick, and leathery in structure, and they are narrow at the distal end and are larger than the second pair of wings. That's the metathoracic wings, the hind wings, okay. So these are larger, but they are not used for flight. It's the hind wings which are used for flight, but although cockroaches can't fly too much, they're not very good flyers. But remember that the forewings are not used for flight. So these wings are not used for flight, but cover and protect the metathoracic hind wings. That's the wings, hind wings, and they're also known as tegmina, wing covers, or elytra. So the forewings are also known as tegmina, wing covers, or elytra. Okay, so if they ever ask any of these, they use any of these words, so you know they're talking about the forewings, the mesothoracic wings, okay, and not the metathoracic wings. Okay, so the metathoracic, remember metathoracic these are long mesothoracic wings and they cover the metathoracic wings. Okay, the metathoracic wings are used for flight. Okay, clear? Let's move on then. I think we've answered this question. The others A, C and D were obviously incorrect. So we will move on. So here you have a structure. Yeah, you have tegmina. That's the forewing over here, and then you have the hind wing over here. So they are over here distal at the end. Okay, they narrow towards the distal end and they cover this wing. Over here you don't see the covering, but if you observe a real cockroach, maybe an adult cockroach, you can see that it covers the wing. Okay, let's move on. Question number 12. Sorry. Which one of the following is one of the paths followed by air or oxygen during respiration in the adult male Periplaneta americana as it enters the animal body? It's appeared in Karnataka Neet 2013. A. Spiracle in metathorax, trachea, tracheose, oxygen diffuses into cells. B. Mouth, bronchial tube, trachea, no, that's incorrect. Obviously, spiracles are used for breathing. Spiracles in prothorax, tracheoles, trachea, oxygen diffuses into cells. B. Hypopharynx, mouth, pharynx, trachea, tissues. So clearly, obviously, trachea comes before tracheoles. So the answer is A, it's not C, it's definitely not D. The correct answer is A. So there are 10 pairs of spiracles, sorry, or stigmata. Another word for spiracles is stigmata. So if they ever use stigmata, you know they're talking about spiracles. They're present on either side of the body wall. The first pair of thoracic spiracle is present between prothorax and mesothorax. They're not present on the prothorax, they're present between the pro and the mesothorax. And the second pair is present between the meso and the metathorax. Okay, then there are spiracles that leads to the trachea and contain 3 pairs of longitudinal tracheal trunks. Okay, the spiracles that leads to the trachea and they contain 3 pairs of longitudinal tracheal trunks. I have a diagram for it. You'll be able to understand the text better. And are connected to each other with transverse trachea. So there are longitudinal trachea over here, then there are transverse trachea. Okay. And from each tracheal trunk, 3 branches come out and supply to the dorsal muscles, nerve cord, and alimentary canals. The dorsal, lateral, and the ventral side is supplied, okay, by those tracheal trunks. The trachea further divide into tracheoles. Just like in humans, okay, the trachea, the tracheole, the bronchi, bronchioles. You know, trachea, over here they have trachea and tracheoles, we have bronchi, then bronchioles, and from the trachea they come out, right? And then they terminate into alveoli, right? But here, it's a similar concept that is applied here. They have trachea, they have tracheoles. Okay, they terminate blindly. I'll just erase this quickly. Oops, sorry. The trachea further divide into tracheoles and they terminate blindly into tissues, okay, and contain a tissue fluid at the distal end which help in the exchange of gases. So you, for example, if the tracheole is over here, okay, and uh, the it divide it ends blindly over here like that. Okay, and the tissue is here, let's say. Okay, and they have some tissue fluid over here. There's a tissue fluid over here, okay, which helps in the exchange of gas. So oxygen enters, CO2 leaves like that. Okay, so the trachea are there, then they divide into tracheoles, and then they terminate blindly into tissues. So the tracheoles end over there next to the tissues, and there where exchange of gases takes place. So tissue fluids play a very important role in exchange of gases there. Okay, and hence exchange of gases takes place at the tracheoles via diffusion. For humans, it's different. You have capillaries and so on, but over here it's different. But the concept is almost similar. If you can, if you can relate to human beings and to insects, obviously we are more evolved than insects. Insects have a very basic evolutionary structure, and their bodies are small. So they have trachea, they have tracheoles, and then they have a tissue fluid inside next to the tissues where exchange of gases takes place via diffusion. I have a diagram, yeah. So this will help you understand. So if you can see the first thoracic spiracle over here, so it's between the prothorax and the mesothorax. Second thoracic spiracle over here, between the meso and the metathorax. Obviously, in the options that were given, they didn't really specifically mention, between this and this so and so segment, but it's understood based on the other options that were given there. Yeah, apart from that, you have abdominal spiracles also. You have the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then eighth abdominal spiracles. They also occur in pairs. Okay, just like the thoracic spiracle. So that leads into the longitudinal trunk. This is what I was talking about. This is the longitudinal trunk, and then that leads into the transverse branches, trachea branches, and then you can see the tracheal branches over here. It is a different color. Right, so from the longitudinal tracheal trunks to the transverse tracheal trunks, and then to the to the branches, the tracheal branches, the trunks that are there. Okay, that supply to the dorsal, the ventral, the alimentary canal, and so on. So this is how the tracheal network is. Obviously, then the tracheal trunks then further divide into tracheoles, and then they have the tissue fluid, which then supplies to the tissues. So that is not really shown in the diagram, but you can imagine it. I don't know if there will be a detailed diagram of the whole tracheal system. But yeah, overall, this is how it functions. Okay, but I guess we've answered the question. Yeah. Spiracle in metathorax, trachea, then tracheoles, oxygen diffuses into cells. Okay, let's move on then. Alright, so question number 13. Select the correct statement from the ones given below with respect to Periplaneta americana. It's appeared in 2012. A nervous system located dorsally consists of segmentally arranged ganglia joined by a pair of longitudinal connectives. No, they are not dorsally located. They are ventrally located. Male bear a pair of short thread-like anal styles. We've already discussed this before many times, but this seems to be like an important information. Looks like B is the right answer. C, there are 16 very long Malpighian tubules present in the junction of midgut and hindgut. No, that's incorrect. Grinding of food is carried out only by the mouth parts. No. And A is also incorrect. So the correct answer over here is B. Alright, so there is a double ventral cord that originates from the subesophageal ganglion and ends at the alimentary canal. I already discussed central nervous system of cockroach before. You can go back and check it out. I won't go through this again. There are 9 ganglia present in the nerve cord. So yeah, there are 100 to 150 yellow fine thread-like structures present between the midgut and hindgut. I'm talking about Malpighian tubules. It's not like 30, they're 100 to 150. And grinding of food. Lastly, grinding of food is carried out by the gizzard, also known as proventriculus. So if they ever write proventriculus, they're talking about gizzard. So the gizzard has a thick circular muscular wall. So here you have a diagram of the gizzard. Okay, so you have circular muscles over here. And thick circular muscular wall which is greatly folded. You can see the folds over here. Okay. It has 6 teeth used for grinding. So this is one tooth here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 teeth that are used for grinding. So apart from the mouth part, yes, that plays a role, but the gizzard also helps in crushing the food. Okay, that is there. Or grinding the food, that is there. All right. Okay. I guess this answered the question. So apart from the mouth part, yes, the gizzard also plays a role. Clearly, but over here B was the right answer. Male bear a pair of short thread-like anal styles. Okay, also known as caudal styles, anal styles, whatever word they use, you should be aware of that. Okay, and I've already discussed caudal styles before. Won't go into detail. I've already also given a structure of the cockroach where you can see the anal style clearly. All right, and let's move on then. Okay, question number 14. Which of the following happens in the common cockroach? It's appeared in 2011. A. Malpighian tubules are excretory organs projecting out from the colon. B. Oxygen is transported by hemoglobin in blood. C. Nitrogen excretory product is urea. D. The food is ground by mandibles and gizzard. Malpighian tubule excretory organs projecting out from the colon, that is not really right. Oxygen is transported by hemoglobin in blood. No, we already discussed that. This tissue fluid. Nitrogen excretory product is urea. No, it's uric acid. Food is ground by mandibles and gizzard. We already discussed that, right? Food is ground by mandibles and gizzard. Answer is D. We already discussed gizzard. We'll discuss mandibles. It's a mouth part of the cockroach. So here what you see is the structure of a mandible. Now mandibles occur in pairs. Okay, so what you see is only one mandible. There's another mandible on the other side too. So the left side and the right side. Okay, so there's one pair of mandibles and is divided into grinding and incision region. So you see this grinding region and this is the incision region. Now the inner margin contains teeth while the upper inner edge consists of prostheca. Okay, so this round structure is called a prostheca. Over here what you see are teeth. Okay, the grinding and the incision region. Now when both work in the horizontal plane, the food matter is masticated into small pieces. So if you have the left and the right mandible and both of them work in this horizontal plane, okay, horizontal plane, okay, the food will be ground. Okay, they get masticated, they get cut, okay, into small pieces. Now mandibles move with the help of adductor and abductor muscles. So you see these abductor muscles, you have adductor muscles. So both these muscles help in the grinding of food. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much what a mandible does and what it looks like and how it is designed. We've already discussed gizzard before, so I won't go into gizzard in detail. You can go back and check that out. So this is what a mandible does. So apart from the mouth part, yes, the gizzard also helps in the crushing of food. Mandible helps in crushing big pieces into small pieces, so it's easy for the cockroach to consume that. Okay, further on, the gizzard helps in further crushing of the food. So, and also the mandibles work in such a way that if they move in the horizontal plane with the help of these adductor and abductor muscles, they they manage to cut or masticate the food into smaller pieces. Okay, I guess I've answered the question though. Yeah. All right, question number 15. Assertion A, that's Periplaneta americana, is nocturnal, omnivorous, household pest. That's correct. Reason is it is because it acts as scavenger. Okay, this appears in 92. So A is true, but R is false. No, that's incorrect. Both are correct actually, A and R. A is false, but R is true. That's incorrect. Both A and R are true, but R is correct explanation of A. Now, if a cockroach is nocturnal, omnivorous, or household pet, that is why it acts as a scavenger. I don't think so. Well, A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A, could be the appropriate option. That's D. Yes, we know for a fact that they are nocturnal, omnivorous, and household pests. But because of that, they act as scavengers? No, that is not correct. So answer is D. It's not really the correct explanation for the assertion, the reason that is. Yeah, so A is true since Periplaneta americana, that's cockroach, are nocturnal, omnivorous, and household pests. But B is also true. I'm talking about as in B, as in R. The reason is also true since they are also scavengers and they feed on human food, paper, leather, cloth, and even dead bodies of cockroach. Okay, but the reason does not explain the assertion. Okay, so if they are scavengers, I mean, they don't have a reason to be a scavenger just because they are nocturnal, right? Or they are omnivorous. Okay, so but although both the assertion and the reason both were true. So I think D is the appropriate answer for this. It does not explain the assertion, although both statements are true. Okay, let's move on then. Question number 16. Male and female cockroaches can be distinguished externally through, and this appeared in 1991. A. Anal styles in male. B. Anal cerci in female. C. Anal style antennae in females. D. Both B and C. I think we already discussed this a million times. Please remember, I think anal styles is a very, very important topic, an important structure to remember with respect to cockroaches. So, male and female cockroaches can be distinguished externally through A. Anal style in male. So, if you see anal style, you know it's a male cockroach and you can see it visually. So, the answer is A. So, anal styles are present in male cockroaches but not in females. Okay, clear? Let's move on then. Question number 17. Select the correct route for the passage of sperms in male frogs. So we have A. Testes, vasa efferentia, kidney, seminal vesicle, urinogenital duct, cloaca. Okay, testes, vasa efferentia, Bidder's canal, ureter, cloaca. Testes, vasa efferentia, then kidney, Bidder's canal, urinogenital duct, cloaca. And the testes, Bidder's canal, kidney, vasa efferentia, urinogenital duct, cloaca. No, D is incorrect. I think C is the right answer here. There's no ureter, so urinogenital duct. And seminal vesicles come after the urinogenital duct, so this is also incorrect. So this appeared in Neet 2017. Yeah, answer is C. So testes, vasa efferentia, kidney, Bidder's canal, urinogenital duct, and cloaca. So here you see the structure of the urinogenital aspect that includes the kidney and how the sperms are transported in frogs, in male frogs. So here you see the seminiferous tubules. Okay, then you have vasa efferentia. And the vasa efferentia go into the Bidder's canal. Now Bidder's canal is present in the kidney. What you see here is the kidney of the frog. Okay, and then they go via the transverse collecting tubule and then into the longitudinal collecting tubule and then into the urinogenital duct. So sperms are produced by the germinal epithelium in seminiferous tubules. Okay, they then transfer to the Bidders canal via vasa efferentia. So remember, after the seminiferous tubules, there's vasa efferentia, then there's Bidders canal. The sperms are then carried to the transverse collecting tubule and longitudinal collecting tubule, and then to the urinogenital duct. So there's the Bidders canal, then there's transverse collecting tubule, and the longitudinal collecting tubule, and then to the urinogenital duct. Then the sperms are carried to the seminal vesicles where they are stored temporarily. Okay, they're stored there. So seminal vesicles don't appear before the urinogenital duct; they appear after the urinogenital duct, which carries the sperms. Okay, along with that, they also carry the excretory product. Okay, and sperms are carried to the seminal vesicles where they are stored temporarily. The sperms are transferred to the cloaca and then shed into the water through the cloacal aperture. So this answers our question. The discussion answers the question pretty much. There's testes, there's vasa efferentia, there's kidney, there's Bidders canal, there's urinogenital duct, and there's cloaca. Okay, let's move on then. Alright, question number 18. Frog's heart, when taken out of the body, continues to beat for some time. This appeared in Neet 2017. Select the best option from the following statements. One, frog is a poikilotherm. Two, frog does not have any coronary circulation. Three, heart is myogenic in nature. And four, heart is auto-excitable. Frog's heart continues to beat even after taken out because heart is myogenic in nature and heart is auto-excitable. So the appropriate answer should be 3 and 4. The answer is C. So heart of the frog is myogenic in nature, just like human heart. Okay, it's myogenic, that the cardiac muscles participate in the contraction. Okay, they don't have an external stimulus by the nervous system. The heart itself does the job. All right, that's myogenic in nature. Okay, that means the impulse originates from the muscle. The muscles only participate in that. Okay, there are some pacemaker cells present. You've already studied about the human heart. We know the essay note has pacemaker cells. Similarly, the frog also has pacemaker cells which help in contracting the muscles of the heart, the cardiac muscles. Okay, so there are pacemaker cells located between the junction of the right atrium and the vena cava and the regions known as sinus venosus. If you look at the structure of the heart, there's a region called sinus venosus which contains the pacemaker cells. Okay, they produce action potential through the nerves of the heart which cause the contraction of cardiac muscles, and this allows the flow of blood in the heart. So the action potential is generated by the cardiac muscles only. Okay, which allows then for the contraction of the heart. Now, if taken out of the body of the the heart will continue to beat till it runs out of either extracellular sodium or energy. That's ATP. Okay, so it's auto-excitable and it's myogenic in nature. Okay, so it has the ability to beat on its own without any other outside control from the body. It is connected by sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system that only adjusts the increase or the decrease of the heartbeat, but it does not, the nervous system does not control the heartbeat itself. Okay, it only increases or decreases depending on the situation. But if we cut that out, it will just beat normally. It will continue to be, keep beating normally. Okay, and yeah, the pacemaker cells are myogenic in nature and they are auto-excitable. So even if the heart is taken out of the body for some time, it will still continue to beat normally till it runs out of energy. Okay, so temporarily, yeah, it will continue to beat because of these two reasons. So heart is myogenic in nature and heart is auto-excitable. Okay. The other two didn't really make sense. Just because it's cold blood is poikilotherm, no. And frog does not have any coronary circulation. That's not a reason. But 3 and 4 make sense. They're the correct option. Alright, question number 19. Compared to those of humans, the erythrocytes in frog are, and this appeared in 2012. Okay, A without nucleus but with hemoglobin. No, the erythrocytes in frogs are nucleated actually. B nucleated and with hemoglobin. C very much smaller and fewer. Nucleated and without hemoglobin. No, they are B nucleated and with hemoglobin. So the answer is B. So this is the erythrocyte of a frog. You can see the nucleus, although the hemoglobin is not really shown here. And there's a cytoplasm. So red blood cells in frog are nucleated and with hemoglobin. Okay, clear? Let's move on then. Okay, so we come to the end of this video lecture, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video lecture. I hope you've learned something new today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MG Neet Biology. And I'm available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can follow me there for more updates. And I'll see you in the next video lecture. Right? So bye.